So, Mothership. Get the crew to Eve. If I remember right, the ascent vehicle can carry 8 people, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that looks like 8-side symmetry. So, I need the Mothership to be able to hold 8 people comfortably. Actually, no, I can just say new. Okay, so, how do you want to do this Mothership? Because, like, Motherships are the fun thing. So do I want to do huge, do I want to do smallish, do I want to do, like... It's a decision between 2.5 meter and a decision between Mark 3. And I'm not exactly sure how I want to proceed here. You know what? So I can keep this, the scale of this down a little bit, I'm kind of considering going with 2.5 meter. And that can be my living... No. Let's go bigger. Let's go big. Go big or go home, they said. And I'm going to do my classic Ultimate Steve nose cone section, which is going to be a cupola, one of those things, and then the living quarters. And how about let's go for 2 of them? So this just screams Project Intrepid, but whatever. I do it a lot, but I do it a lot because it's a good design. And if we just stick a bunch of nuclear engines on here, how much delta V do we get out of that? Well, that's sea level delta V. So, and you can't even see it. Vacuum delta V. 6.5 kilometers per second, according to this thing. Look, if you don't believe me, you can look for yourself. So, hold on. To escape Kerbin, it's 1. Pessimistically to Eve, it's another 1. Pessimistically down to Eve, it's another 2. So that's 4. And then pessimistically back to Kerbin, it's another 2. 2 to 3, 4. So, like, pessimistically the journey is 8, optimistically it's 6. So, it's enough if I don't go to Gilly. And before I add all the other bells and whistles. So let's just add all the other bells and whistles, and then maybe we can do drop tanks to make up a difference. We're always going to want a great deal of reaction wheels. Okay, hold on. Ridge detachment on is very important with these. Then at least 1 battery. Like, it doesn't. We don't really need more than 1, but I'm gonna have 2 to be safe. This will not be able to refuel itself. We should not need that. And that's technically enough, but I want it to look cooler. Now that's more like it. And it gets our delta V back up to like about 6.5, like we were at before. Okay, now it's, yeah, still this, but thrust weight ratio of 0.4. Like, come on, you can't get better. You can't really reasonably expect better than that. Oh, and then solar panels are going to be here. Yeah, that'll look amazing. Okay, now this is just extra weight at this point. But I wonder, can we make this thing glide? Like when empty. Actually, no, because imagine, like, what a smashing ending to this series it would be if we just glided this down to the runway at Kerbal Space Center instead of, like, landing them using parachutes or anything. Like, when empty, can this glide, is what I'm asking. It's going to be a reasonable amount of mass to get to that point. And we've learned our lesson from Ezra. We want to attach the gear to this thing. I'm gonna be honest, like, I had no idea what Mothership design I wanted going into this, and this is a bad idea, but it's a really cool idea. Okay, so this is gonna move the center of mass forward. If I drain all the fuel out of this thing, okay, well, I have to drain the forward fuel tank too. It might be a good idea to add a fuel drain valve on this as well. This will move it backward. Okay, that's a good center of mass balance. Drain valve. I'm gonna stick that on the main fuel tank here, the main back fuel tank. So how are we going to test this? Well, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, I think you know exactly how we're going to test this. And we still need to add, like, communications, dish and whatnot, but that'll be negligible mass. So basically, how does this thing glide when empty? Because if this is not going to, like, be a thing that works, I will gladly just drop it and go with a traditional mothership. But I've never made a mothership that can glide. Okay, granted, it's not a mothership if it doesn't have like a lander that's attached to it, but we can fix that by just like making a ghillie lander or something like that. All right, here we go. Okay, and we're gonna need to strut this, or at least apply auto stretch like the top 2 tanks. So we are booking it off the pad. Okay, I may have spotted a problem already. Like this landing gear might not be long enough. That does not look safe. Okay. It might be barely long enough, but it'll be close. Okay. We can sort of fly it. It's kind of maybe unstable. Okay. Okay, it's working. It's working. It's unstable, but that's part of the fun. Okay, no, it's pretty stable now. It was just that we were going slow and spinning around. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Okay. We need to pull out of this dive. And okay, that's yeah. Kind of likes to fly backwards sometimes, I guess. Will he live? Probably not. Nope. But like other people. Okay, let's go back to the vehicle assembly building and recurve jigger the design. Auto strut, heaviest part, root part. That'll work. Auto strut, heaviest part, root part. Auto strut, heaviest part. Okay, I'm gonna offset these landing gear a smidge further this way, so we don't have as much of a tail strike hazard. And I'm gonna change absolutely nothing about the center positioning, because I can do that better with I can do that that was a piloting issue. It's also a design issue, but it's a design issue that can be fixed if I just had a little bit of skill whatsoever. Let's go. Now how are we gonna ditch these and still remain intact? Okay, like that. That's our answer. And we're still a bit unstable, so maybe piloting can't fix this. But like from orbit, it's gonna be hopefully maybe easier. All right. Okay, see, we're recovering. We're not recovering, are we? Nope, those heavy engines just... Okay, can we nose down here? I'm trying to nose down. Authority limiter. More. Alright. Okay. We've got the Starship belly flop maneuver down. We could land it like a starship. Because like this is the most stable belly flopper I've ever encountered. Alright, so we do actually need to refactor the centers. So we need to move the wings back significantly. Okay, it's gonna look a bit goofy with those 2 engines behind the rest, but you know, if it works, like the coolness of landing it like a plane is much cooler, is worth more to me than the coolness of the engines being level. Okay, they exploded, but they did not explode anything important. So this should be stable enough for me to just maneuver it like this. Okay. Alright, I think it is now slightly more stable than Dogecoin. Is that a current reference? I don't even know anymore. Okay, so I might not be able to make the runway. Oh hey, there go the boosters. The boosters made the runway. Okay. This is incredibly sluggish in the turns. We may not make the runway. I don't know if we have the pitch authority to even pull up in time. Come on, pull up, pull up, pull up. Okay, maybe a little bit more wing would be a good idea. Okay, because I think we also might have gone too far. So if we put these wings like that, and then offset them, so like this, we kind of have like a solid square. I don't really want a square, but like whatever. More wing. And then we can, that's a bit extreme, don't you think? No, let's do more elevons up there, so you have 2 pitch services. I could have had a perfectly normal mothership like 15 minutes ago if I had not decided on making it cool like this. All you need is a fuel tank, and a crew capsule, and an engine, and that's it. It doesn't have to be this complicated. But then again, I do have a history of making overcomplicated things for things that don't need to be complicated. Did I explode anything important? Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Alright, I can already feel that this is much more maneuverable than it was previously. Oh, 1 engine exploded, but that's okay. We're not even using them. Okay, the yaw stability leaves much to be desired. Okay, I do need to check my centers again. I didn't even check my centers after last time. Okay. Get the nose back down to, well, down. And then I can maybe pull out of this dive and at least try and land on the land, if not the runway. Okay, yeah, the pitch response is much improved. And I can recover from the yaw dives. And chances are I'll have some fuel left to mess around with. And if this lands, I think I'm gonna call it good. And then work on action groups and antennas and probe cores and that sort of thing. This is so stupid. I was about to say, but it works, and if it works, it ain't stupid, but then it stopped working. Okay, either way, it's gonna be good. I've proven that I can land it with no fatalities. So, this is our mothership. Let's stick a relay dish on it, I guess. Docking ports. I will want to add some cool stuff. So I will like to take like 1 or 2 things to Eve with me, so how about I just stick like the docking ports there? That's an okay spot for them. Then on one side I can have the ghillie lander, on one side I can have the descent vehicle. Okay, now I need to fill this up and I need to get to orbit somehow. Okay, is it cheesy? Yes. Is it because I don't want to move the rudder? Yes. But am I going to, oh, it's not gonna, okay. There we are. Nope. Please. Thank you. My mouse again! Okay. I'm gonna offset the decoupler with the booster engines on it far enough that it won't intersect the rudder. And yeah, it looks goofy, yeah, it's technically cheating. And I'm just gonna slap a random nose cone on there and hope for the best. And what's our delta V on this? Oh, I need these. Almost enough. And then I can use the nuclear engines the rest of the way. Now, the absolute mad lad, Jebediah Kerwin, is the only one insane enough to fly this thing, so here goes. And then I'll launch everyone else on the descent vehicle to the Eve thing, to the mothership once it's done. Okay. I'm not going to question it. There we are. That is the timing of someone who took like 8 classes on springs over the past college year. Oh, this might not be aerodynamically stable going up, actually. Because it wasn't before. Okay, I'm going to throttle down the liquids, actually, because it looks like the solids... It looks like the liquids are going to burn out first. And I can just coast on the solids here for a while. This is the stupidest thing I have ever just... Okay, well, not the stupidest. But it's probably in the top 10% of the stupidest looking things I've designed. It's gonna look cool in space. Oh, I forgot to set the action groups, but literally, I'm gonna deploy the retract the solar panels once, it doesn't matter. And I can do that in flight now, actually. I keep forgetting that's a feature. Alright, please don't explode anything important, otherwise I'll have to redo this. Yes! Okay, how high is my app? Okay, only 43, so let's get this all the way into space. Jeb is on top of this stupid machine. There's my thumbnail. $412. So I'll have to use the nuclear engines a little bit to get into orbit, but it won't be that much, I don't think. So my horizontal speed, I can't tell exactly. Now I can do some trig. Okay, maybe it's not that simple because of gravity and orbits and whatnot. Orbital mechanics, yeah. I have a class on that, so I'm going to be able to actually finally calculate that stuff. Okay, I'll have to use at least 200 meters per second of delta V. So I am going to start my burn now and use up this while I have the time, I guess. There we go. Oh, please tell me these decoupler nubs are not going to stay okay the entire mission. That'll look really stupid. Alright. Oh yeah, we'll make it to orbit with ease. I think the decoupler nubs might go away on quick save and quick load, but I'm not sure. Okay, that square edge kind of looks a bit silly, but do I care that much? Not really. Do I care enough to redo it? It's gonna bug me the whole mission, but like I don't really care much. I don't care enough to redo it. Let's say that. $100 by 104, circular enough. There we are. The Eve Mothership is in orbit. I'll just twist save 18. The Eve Mothership, it's also a plane or a glider. Okay, and it has 5.3 kilometers per second. Actually, looking at those delta V numbers, I'm not exactly. I might send a refueler up, or I might like claw an extra fuel tank onto the front or something. Because like, there's nowhere extra that's easy to attach drop tanks from here. I should have looked at the delta V again before I launched this, because I did add like a decent amount of landing hardware and whatnot. So like 5.4, that is not enough to do even back. Well, it is if you fly super efficiently and aero brake. But am I going to be that efficient? Probably not. So I will have to refuel this. But anyway, the Mothership's in orbit. Yeah, we have a Kerbal in space who's going to Eve for the first time.